Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching Now Media Television.
But we're going to talk tech right now, and we got my friend Roland Parker. Roland started his firm back in 1994 and grew it to be one of the largest computer companies in Zimbabwe. And then as we were talking here just a second ago, he pulled out a map, put his finger down, and found Katy, Texas. And in 2003, he and his family moved here, and they started Impress Computers USA, where they provide managed IT services along with general computer repairs throughout their store in Provincial Boulevard in Katy. So for the past 16 years, Impress Computers has grown to one of the top IT support companies in the area. So welcome, Roland. How are you doing today?
Michael, I'm doing fantastic and enjoying this great fall weather.
It is. It's not 100 degrees out anymore. You know, it's going there. You know, cybersecurity is one of the hottest topics that's going on for small business. Tell me a little bit about small businesses. You know, I know small business, two of us. Why do we need cybersecurity?
So the big misconception is that people keep thinking, well, they're only going to go after the big guys. Well, the fact of the matter is, the small guys don't have good cybersecurity, so they're the low-hanging fruit. And the bad guys are now targeting more small businesses than ever before because it's easy money. And if they can get it in and out and get easy money, that's who they're going to hit. And that's why you need cybersecurity for your business, no matter what the size.
So what are some of the risks that are involved? You know, how can they attack me, and what can they do, and how can it affect my company?
So let's have a look at it. One is financial. If they hit you with ransomware and they're going to hold you to ransom, if you don't have a backup, then you're going to have to pay the ransom. The other thing is, another financial side is if they get into your bank accounts, they're transferring money like Zelle, they're hitting people with wire transfer fraud. There's so many financial risks. But then there's also the other cost. There's the cost of downtime. How long are you going to be down? How much money are you going to lose while you're down? And then you start losing credibility. What if your customer's information is exposed? There's a lot of impact to a business if you get hit with a cyber attack.
You know, we've always heard it's not if you get attacked, it's just when.
It's when.
It's when. We're all going to get attacked. I know yesterday I got a phishing scam through PayPal. You know, and I swear to God, it was one of the best ones I've ever seen.
And they're getting clever. And now you can see some of them easy to spot. This is obvious.
Yeah.
But there's some where they're taking that time, where they're even copying people's logos, their signatures. They make it look like it's coming from somebody that you do business with or somebody that you know.
So, as small business, how are some ways that us, the small business owner, what are some simple ways that we can prevent it? You talked about being down. I know myself, I back up my stuff every couple of days. What are some simple things we can do before we get into more complicated stuff?
Well, the first thing is you want to make sure that on every type of, whether financial or your email or anything that you deal with, that you have multi-factor or two-factor authentication so that there's that one extra layer if somebody tries to get into your bank account, if somebody tries to access your email, it's going to send you a text to your cell phone. Simplest thing, pretty easy to install. That's the first thing. The next thing is you really want to have a good firewall if you're running a business, not just your regular modem/router provided by your ISP. And then, of course, you've got to have a good next-gen antivirus and keep your operating systems up to date.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that are going on, and a lot of things that we've got to be worried about. And there's some things, you know, phishing. You know, my business is called Teach Your Business to Fish. It's not the same site for phishing. So tell me about phishing and what is it, and how do we, you know, I know I've got kids, and I know phishing, you know, phishing is really important in that way of protecting them and everything that's going on. So tell us about phishing and what is it?
So phishing really is, they're going to send you an email and it's going to look like it's coming from a company that you deal with or somebody that you know. And it's really just getting you to click on a link, click on an attachment, or getting you to go to a website. And where they're getting pretty clever now is that they're embedding the script into PDF and Word documents. So some people, they look at it, it doesn't look malicious, it looks like it's coming from somebody that I know. It says this invoice hasn't been paid. You open the PDF attachment. When you open the PDF attachment, that's when you start giving away your passwords. Or they'll try and get you to say, your Office 365 has got an issue. We need you to sign in with your credentials. They're getting you to give away your personal information or your credentials, email, password. You log in, you give them that information, and now they've got access to your keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, I know yesterday the one that I saw, I mean, it was very real looking. It looked like PayPal. It looked everything like PayPal. Said I had this invoice that I had to pay that I know I didn't have to pay. And it tipped me off because it came to an email address that I don't have my PayPal account associated with. And that's the thing that got me. But it's just like you said, you're just getting you to take the bait. I mean, phishing it's just take the bait, right?
Yeah, take the bait. And really the big rule of thumb is never trust the link that they're sending you. Never trust the phone number. If it says that it's coming from PayPal or your bank or Office 365, never click on the link, but go directly to the source. Log into your account and see what's going on. We've seen a lot of Facebook scams going on as well, where they're really trying to get your credentials into your Facebook, then they start doing other things. Financial information, Outlook, you name it. If there's a link or an attachment, treat it with suspicion.
Should we always, when something comes like that, should we go and just like maybe update our password? As soon as that happens, if what if we do click and it doesn't? Should we go make changes immediately?
Yeah. So the first thing you want to do is make sure. Let me log in from another machine, change my passwords, and let me get that machine checked out to make sure that I haven't got a keylogger in. Because one of the things, the mistake that people make, the one guy spent the whole night changing every single password on the machine that was infected, and he had a keylogger, which guess what? He gave the bad guys every single password that he had changed. So you've really got to take it, okay, something may have been compromised in this machine. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to change my passwords from another computer, and then I'm going to go back and get that machine checked out to make sure that there isn't a keylogger sitting there that's giving away my information every time I put it in.
Oh, wow. That's like amazing information. I would never even thought about that. One of the things we were talking about earlier before we came on here was watering holes. What's a watering hole? Tell me about that, man. Come on. So this goes back to Africa, dude. Come on.
So, and it's just, that's where people meet. So business people, associations. If you get in with a church organization or a business association, the bad guys are sometimes sitting in there. They get to know who's around there and get to know your trust, and then they're gonna start hitting people with the same subjects. And that's the other thing with websites. You've got to be careful. We're seeing a lot of like church organizations that have websites open, that have open forums. People go to those websites, and that website has got a malware injected into it, and you don't realize it. But it's really just if you're part of any local association, if you're part of any sporting organization, that's sometimes where the bad guys are hanging out, and they want to build up your trust so that they can come around through the back door and hit you that way.
It's just amazing at how complicated they become these days, and it's coming from everywhere. We were talking about earlier. Drive-by downloads. What are those, and how do they occur?
Yeah, it's simply you're on the internet. You're doing some stuff. You might be getting some drivers for your Epson printer, and something gets downloaded. Sometimes it's not malicious, but a lot of the bad guys, just by searching the internet, you could have downloads going on in the background without your knowledge. That's why it's so important to have something called zero trust. And zero trust means we lock the machines down to your known good programs, and everything else is prohibited. So if something tries to run, it's going to block it. So we use Threat Locker, and that zero trust program means once your machine's locked down, nothing can be installed without us giving it permission. And that's a great way of preventing all these drive-by downloads, clicking on links and attachments by mistake. They all have to run a script, run an executable. And if that can't run because you're locked down, then you're going to be protected.
Does it doing something and using something like a threat blocker like that, how does that, change our day, scrolling and searching and stuff like that? Does it make things just a little bit more difficult? Is it just something we're just going to have to deal with, or that we should get used to dealing with?
Well, the thing is, it should prevent you from browsing, interacting with your programs normally. Sometimes there's about a 2 or 3% degradation in your speed, but if you've got a 8th generation i5 processor or newer with a solid state drive, you're normally fine. But your normal program, searching the internet, you should not have a problem. It's only when you come to install a program that you now have to say, okay, it's got to be unlocked so the program can be installed, and then lock it back down again. But your normal functionality is not really affected at all. It just means that if you go to a bad website by mistake, or you click on a link by mistake, it's going to prevent that from running.
So what was that called again? Because I've got to do that, because I'm the dude that, by mistake.
So it's Threat Locker, and all of our managed service companies by default, when you come on board with us, we're going to put Threat Locker on, as well as the next gen antivirus.
Okay.
And we use Sentinel-1. So your normal antivirus tries to prevent something from running, but if it gets past your defenses, it doesn't have any detection and remediation. And that's what your next gen comes with. Endpoint detection and remediation. If it gets past the defenses, we can lock that machine down 24/7 and isolate it to stop it from spreading.
So with you're talking about going in and helping, some managed service IT, NSPs, stuff like that. What size company should look at hosting or hiring somebody like you to help them? Is it us 1 and 2 person shop? Do you specialize in 10, 20, 30 machines? Where's your sweet spot?
So most of the clients fit in that 10 to about 200 computers.
Okay.
But we've got a number of people that have got 3, 4, 5 computers, but they're still managed because they've got critical information. They can't afford downtime. So really it's not always about the size, but how critical is it to your business if you were to go down? How critical would it be if you couldn't operate for 5, 6 days? If you need uptime, if you need security, if you have personal identifiable information on your computer that needs to be protected, if you can't afford to be hit with a cyber attack, that's when you've got to pay somebody to monitor and maintain your network. Otherwise, basically, you're taking on that responsibility. You're monitoring it, you're maintaining it. And if you don't have a way of doing it, sooner or later, you're going to get hit, and you better make sure that you've got a reliable backup. And don't just rely on a simple USB drive, because guess what? If your machine gets hit, you plug in that drive, that's also going to get hit. Yeah. So if you suspect anything and you're not being protected or monitored, the best thing to do is shut it down, bring it into somebody like us, and let us check it out and stop that spread before it gets even worse.
Yeah, I know personally I use, I think, Carbonite. So I've got some offsite backup, I got my other backup. But how do we know that there's a lot of computer guys out there, they say they're experts. We were talking about this in the break. How do they know that, Roland, you're the guy, and what should they look for when they're trying to find somebody to protect their computer?
Well, the first thing you want to do is look at credibility. How long has that person been around? What are their references? Can they give you good references of their clients that have been dealing with them for years? And, a lot of these guys will jump up. It's not a regulated industry, so it's based on trust, and that trust is built up over a period of time. Check out their references, find out who they're supporting and what their response time is, and what's happened when something's gone wrong. Have they been able to get you back up and running quickly and keep all your data intact?
Well, that's great, Roland. How do they get a hold of you? I know we got your name and number on the bottom of the screen, but how and when should somebody get a hold of you?
The best thing is just give us a call, 281-647-9977. We always answer our phones live. We don't have any of this automated answering systems. It's going to go live to a number of people that will be able to answer the phone. And after hours, we even have an after hours technician that can help you out if you've got an issue. Or reach us on the web, impresscomputers.tech. That's IMPRESS computers.tech.
Well, Roland, man, this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed sharing with you today. I can't wait to have you back on the show again so I can learn more about it, because I'm telling you, I'm the guy that screws up. I've had clients screw up, and I gotta make sure that we get our clients protected. And it's just like life insurance and stuff like this. It's gonna happen
sooner or later.
You've got to take care of it.
You just got to make sure that you're protected when it does.
Yeah, you just got to. So thanks a lot, Roland. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time today, hosting my first show, Biz Talk with Mike. I know it still says Biz Talk with Sherman in the back. We're going to get that all fixed. It's going to go forward. So I'm Michael Rager, your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. You go out there and have a great day today, and we'll see you soon.